Hey guys, it's Monday, which means we're in the podcast room today, and we're talking about life in the glass house, where pastors' families kind of grow up with everybody looking in. And so we want to get a perspective of those people that are in the glass house, speaking to those outside the glass house. And over the next couple of weeks, we've got Noah Johnson on the podcast with us. Noah, welcome to the podcast here, buddy.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
You betcha. Your parents are friends of mine, met them in college, and I didn't know your dad that well. I kind of came into the CBC group later when, friendships and everything had already been formed, but I hear your dad was a crazy man. He was a wild man, and the stories that I've heard are pretty funny. Did any of that come over to you? Are you a wild and crazy man in college? Totally.
Definitely not.
Definitely not. Gotcha. Them watching the podcast, TJ and Jeannie, are going to be so comforted by that. Exactly. You spend most of your time in the library, probably.
Of course.
Well, Noah is the son of TJ and Jenny Johnson, good friends of the BMA and working overseas. And so we're excited to have you. You're going to bring an interesting perspective over the next couple of weeks of being a missionary kid and a pastor's kid. And so, Noah, why don't you just kind of start us off by talking about your experience growing up in the home that you did?
Yeah. And so when I was like 2 years old, my family decided to move overseas, was there 16 years, and then finally moved back. And it was, I enjoyed it. It was really cool because I grew up in a different nation, with different people.
Mm-hmm.
So the way that other people did things were different. Like the language they spoke was different. How they acted was different. But I didn't know, so like it became normal to me.
Yeah.
So it was just really cool to live in a culture where, like not around the Bible Belt.
Yeah.
Or like where Christianity isn't even really that known. Like people don't even know what a chapter is in the Bible or things like that.
Wow. Yeah.
So it was cool. It was different. Yeah.
So you grew up there.
Mm-hmm.
You grew up there. That's probably where your earliest memories were formed.
Mm-hmm.
What was it like when you came back to the United States?
Dude, it was weird because like for me, I didn't have a car. And so like coming, especially to Arkansas, like you have to have a car to be able to get around.
Yeah.
And so that was like a bit of culture shock. And there's a lot of like,
Because where you were,
oh yeah, it's a big city in Beijing.
big city,
Yeah.
And so you're on the subway. Is the subway system?
Subway,
buses,
you name it.
Just bunch of
public
transportation everywhere. Yeah.
So like coming to rural Arkansas was slightly different.
Yeah, absolutely.
But another like big thing that was different was like I knew a bunch of the words people were saying, but I didn't know the meaning behind it.
Oh, can you give us an example of something like that?
It'd take me a minute.
Yeah. So like when you were so you from 2 years old you grew up there, so you grew up speaking the language, I'm sure.
Oh yeah. So it was weird because I grew up with both at the same time.
I was about to ask how much English was talked was it talked in your home?
Yeah. So like mostly just English inside the household, but then like outside, if I wanted to make friends, I had to learn the language.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, like I'm 2 or 3. I don't know. I'm not making that decision. Just happened.
Yeah.
So
that's
really
that's
cool.
crazy. That's crazy. You're not deciding to learn another language. Okay, so this brings us into something that I don't think a lot of people maybe have heard this term before that I want you to kind of explain to us, and that is the term third culture kid.
Yeah.
So, just the typical person growing up in the Bible Belt in a church, they don't know what that is. So whenever I say third culture kid, what am I talking about?
Yeah, so basically a third culture kid is someone who their family has moved to a different country and they were raised up in that country. So it's a country that's culture's different than yours and different than the one that your parents grew up in.
Yeah.
So that's my basic definition.
Yeah, pretty much. And so, man, you're just a hodgepodge of all different types of things.
Yeah.
So coming back to the United States, let's compare church life that you've experienced in the United States with kind of how you grew up.
Yeah.
What was that like?
It's weird because like I would say there's a few big differences. One of the main ones being like if someone claimed to be a Christian where I grew up, they were like legit. Like you just don't say or claim to have faith in him if you didn't. Like it wasn't a thing. Whereas over here, that's more so the case.
Yeah.
I would say.
So the difference might be where we have cultural Christianity. where you grew up, there's no cultural Christianity. It's
the culture's not to be a Christian.
yeah,
So like,
yeah.
why?
It's
Why
very
would you claim?
secular.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Very, very interesting. So, like, how did that affect you emotionally, your psyche, all that stuff when you're coming over here and like everybody's a Christian.
Yeah.
So
It was weird because like the moment I got here, it was weird because like I thought growing up over there I'd be more, oh, this is great. But like it's when I came back and saw the culture of Christians, I was like, dude, I actually want to take this serious. And like,
oh yeah.
I don't know, I thought it'd be the other way around. But
Right, right. So, on the podcast a couple of weeks ago, we had Jessica James, who is Rob Hager's daughter,
Mhm.
and she talked about one of the ways that we can pray for PKs, preachers' kids, is that they would have a faith of their own, like it would be theirs.
Yeah.
Is that kind of what happened whenever you got over here and you're like, oh, I'm gonna really sink into this thing?
Yeah. For sure. It's weird because like being a pastor's kids, there's like certain expectations that are like put upon you and whatnot. And so I didn't feel it, but
Yeah.
like there's definitely other people out there who do.
Yeah,
And so I think it's important that people do have like faith of their own and it's not just their families
Yeah.
because in due time you'll see if it's yours or not.
that's
So,
very true.
yeah.
That's very true. Well, Noah, I look forward to continuing this conversation and getting more into, because the church that you grew up in is pretty different.
Mhm.
It's probably a whole lot more like heaven than any of us watching or growing up in the Bible Belt would be able to experience. And so I want us to talk a little bit about that as well. And I also want you to talk about how people can pray for missionary kids, for pastors' kids, different things like that. And so I look forward to the next couple of weeks just getting to kind of hash this out with you. All right, man?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Until next Monday on the podcast.